This is critical for this community to really make some inroads that can impact our longer term health.
With COVID nearly 3 times more deadly in Black and Latino communities, leading African American medical professionals also speaking up.
We are urging our community to take safe and effective vaccines once available.
There's this interview by Tucker Carlson. He interviewed the Surgeon General out of Florida, and this Surgeon General had some very interesting things to say about the COVID vaccine, and I'd like you to take a listen to it.
These vaccines have DNA in them. Everyone knows what DNA is. They're contaminated with DNA, and that's not necessarily a big deal. But it's a problem with these vaccines because the DNA hangs on with the mRNA and goes into people's cells. So this is a completely different risk analysis than other products that have had DNA. These vaccines are honestly, they're the antichrist of all products.
We all know what DNA is. This is our genetic blueprint, our gift from God. And this DNA can be affected, and that can be obviously a very bad thing. Sometimes it's affected in a way that makes people sick. Sometimes it can even be affected in a way that leads people to pass on characteristics to their offspring. In this particular case with the mRNA vaccines, they have DNA in them like many other vaccines or other biologic type of medications. And that, as I've said previously, is not such a big deal because fortunately DNA is not some big hairy monster that can live forever when it's foreign in people's bodies. Our bodies have lots of mechanisms to break them down. But the problem here is that for the same reason that scientists won a Nobel Prize, this DNA isn't like other DNA in terms of having a very hard time penetrating into cells. This DNA hangs on with mRNA in that lipid nanoparticle that people hear and frankly probably roll their eyes over. It hangs on with it and it comes into the cells almost certainly hitchhiking along with the mRNA. So whereas in the past, DNA would have a very hard time even entering cells, here the DNA is getting delivered into cells with the lipid nanoparticles. And that's a problem. And that's a problem because each dose of mRNA COVID-19 vaccine probably contains, it's been estimated, between billions and hundreds of billions of fragments of DNA. So this is a completely different risk analysis. That is obvious. You don't need a PhD to be able to figure that out. And the FDA's own guidance about contaminating DNA, published guidance, their words, never referred to by them, by the way, in their counterarguments, but their words are that there are situations when you need to confirm that DNA that is a contaminant or foreign DNA is not integrating into human DNA, into the human genome. And there are specific tests, sequencing tests, to do this, to make sure it's done. And what we did is we asked the FDA, well, have you done this? You've acknowledged this risk. Have you done this? And they came back with about 10,000 words talking about everything from what time the sun sets in China to, their third cousin's, bar mitzvah, and nothing about the specific question we asked.
In 2019, December 2019, in Wuhan, China, when the whole pandemic kicked off and then became international in 2020, people were running all over the place. And then you had black faces, black politicians, black nurses, black doctors running out there along with their European friends, encouraging black people that you should take the COVID vaccine first because you are the people most affected.